Why didn't this click? Here we go. Oh, we're live now. And good evening. Welcome to another edition of The Way I See It. And tonight we have a little different setup tonight because I have a special guest that we're going to start off the show with tonight. My guest is Pastor Paul Roberts. He's the senior pastor at Eastminster Presbyterian Church and my pastor as well because I go there. Pastor Paul, thank you for being on the program.
Wonderful to be on with you, Ralph.
All right. The reason I have Pastor Paul on tonight, everybody, is we're speaking of, and it's a perfect timing too, because tonight on the news, if you on the news tonight, there was a situation where the mayor and Commander Ford of Major Crimes from the City of Police were on the news tonight, talking about the crime in the city, talking about the parents. Had a big press conference. Pastor Paul, about 2 weeks ago, our church, Eastminster Presbyterian, and a few other churches, had a peace and violence rally, and you've had several of them. Explain how that's working out.
Yeah, thanks, Ralph. Well, we had something that was called the Memorial for the Lost, and we did that in conjunction with an organization called Heeding God's Call. That offered that for us as a possibility to do in our community. And what the Memorial for the Lost is that we have T-shirts with the person's name, how old they were, and the day that they were shot and killed. And it's to make sure that we as a community are aware of the unbelievable amount of gun violence that's in our country and in our neighborhoods and our community within Allegheny County. You know, right now in Allegheny County, I didn't get the latest update with just happened this weekend, all the deaths, but we were up to around 77 people killed in 2022 due to gun violence. In a year's time, it's like 111 if you start from, last October to this October. So gun violence is really just horrible. And so we have these T-shirts that we put out on our front yards, on the front lawn of our church. We did it with 3 other churches to just increase that awareness of getting people to realize that there are families, communities, neighborhoods, churches that are being deeply affected by gun violence and the death that is on our street and in our communities. And it's just a terrible, terrible thing. And of course, they're lifting up today in the news about what happened on the south side, what happened on the north side, and just especially young people being involved in this gun violence. But we have a tremendous problem when it comes to guns. And so we had a peace march that went and started at Valley View Church, came down to Eastminster Church, went to East Liberty Presbyterian Church, and then to Calvary Episcopal Church, just to get people to realize we need to start doing action of ways to make for peace. We have to really go after our governments, our community leaders, everyone, to say, we got to do the things that will stop the violence that's going on in our communities.
It's great to be here tonight. My guest, Pastor Paul Roberts, here on The Way I See It. Took last week off. My wife and I went on a little trip, and what we're going to do is I will talk with you about that later on my life story. But also tonight, I've just been informed that the Facebook uplink here is not working. So we're on YouTube Live and Twitch Live tonight. No Facebook. They're having technical difficulties. They just sent me something. So there we are with that. It's great that's the situation. All right. Pastor Paul, what's your thoughts on the current situation in our county and our city as far as now we just found out tonight again, they brought up about the Schumann Center thing. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's really hard to believe that in a county of ours of, roughly 1.6 million people, that we would not have a juvenile detention center, someplace to be able to take youth that are obviously having trouble with the law, maybe having trouble with having guns, whatever, and we have no place to take them. They either have to go and be tried as adults, or they are repeat offenders. And we know when we shut down Schumann that was just a tragic loss for our community, to think that we don't have actually any juvenile detention center. So I really do hope that the mayor and others are serious about figuring out how to reopen a juvenile center, how to have the right kind of staffing at the center that will really focus on how to do
Right.
rehabilitation for these youths that are starting to get involved in violence, involved in the activities that surround violence. Just we really need that, and so I hope something will happen. And I'm glad to hear our mayor wants to
Yes.
tackle that. We need to get all the other leaders to really support that.
Yeah, well, according to what the news report said tonight was, Pastor Paul, that he is seriously getting involved in that, and they have a contractor, somebody that's willing to take control of the facility and run it. The county
That's
doesn't want anything to do with running it. So, which I find very appalling from our county executive, that we wouldn't have, at least some kind of support from the county, which I don't understand. I mean, the state closed it down. Why didn't the county fix it? Then it laid off a bunch of good people who were counselors there for years, and
yeah,
and whatnot, and put them into a strain. And it's just been a mess. And the
yeah.
judges, they can't do anything either because their hands are tied. So it's
Yeah, and
great
we
that they
really
were able,
need to invest a lot. I mean, like
right.
you're saying, Ralph, we really need to have the social workers there.
Mhm.
The people that are working on how to help people become rehabilitated, to understand the depth of what happens when you commit violent crimes, and how to have your life changed and supported to make the changes necessary so you don't continue into that life of violence and criminal activity. So I think, yeah, I think it's just necessary. I certainly hope we won't do it on a cheap way, just have a detention
Yeah,
center that doesn't
exactly. Yes.
staff it correctly and
Yes.
make sure that these
Uh-huh.
kids are, being educated while being
Right.
in the center, or have social workers helping their emotional, spiritual lives, the whole gamut, because we need a system that really cares about the whole person when they've begun to be involved in criminal activity. So one of the big things, Ralph, just to reiterate, is we can do all those things. That's important, but we really got to figure out, Ralph, how to get the guns off our streets. We got to
Yes.
get rid of
Yes, we do.
guns.
Yes.
We
Uh-huh.
do not realize that guns, in our community and our state and our country is
Mhm.
just it's just gone crazy. We have
Mhm.
there are over 450 million guns in our country,
Yeah.
privately owned. I mean, that's just crazy to
Yeah.
think there are that
Exactly.
many guns out there. There are more guns in our country, privately
Mhm.
owned, than all the rest of the industrial countries in our world
Wow.
combined. Combined.
Whoa.
Take all those
Whoa.
industrial countries in the world, combine all the guns they own, and we have more in this country
Oh,
by ourselves. It's a
wow.
tremendous problem.
I never knew it was that high, Pastor Paul. I'm glad you shared that with me. I really am, because I never thought it was that high at all in this country. I thought other countries had more guns than we did, and stuff like that. One other thing I think what needs to happen with the gun situation is there needs to be a restructuring of the Constitution, probably. I mean, it says you have a right to bear arms, but what they it's just like a union contract. It's just like anything else. You got to fix the language a little bit of some things. The amendments say, hey, look, yeah, you can bear a gun, but you got to do it responsibly. See, that's the thing that maybe needs to be put in there, or maybe needs to, I mean, there has to be something to fix this, because I don't think it's ever going to go away. The right to bear arms, that, you know what I mean? That's not
Yeah,
going to
I
go
agree.
away.
I think the
Yeah.
Second Amendment needs to be really evaluated.
Yes.
But not only
Yes.
does it need to be reevaluated, the interpretation right now that we're having, the right to bear arms did not mean, the right to bear any arm you want.
Want exactly. Right.
Most Americans don't have a problem with somebody having a hunting gun, in their home or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
But we've done surveys and everything. The vast majority of Americans don't believe the right to bear arms means you should have an AK-47 in your house.
Right. Right.
These machine guns that they have, and these,
Uh,
being able to fire off 1,000 bullets in 1 minute. I mean, this kind of stuff. This is not what that amendment meant. Never did
Right.
mean that, and most Americans don't believe it should be that way. But we have radical elements that are influencing, controlling us, and the NRA has become a radical group that is highly
Yeah. Yeah.
influential, in which they believe that
Yeah.
we shouldn't stop them from having anything. And why is the gun industry treated any differently than all the other areas of life? Like, we have
Uh,
regulations about drinking, about alcohol sales, everything. We have regulations about smoking. We have regulations about car industry.
yes.
What kind of
Yes.
cars you can have and all that.
Environmental. We have all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. So why is the one thing we're not allowed to have any control over being the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms? I think that's just silly. And I think the vast majority of Americans believe there should be regulations. We don't want the things happening. We don't believe that people who are having mental health issues and everything should still be able to have guns in their homes. We don't want people who have criminal records and guns to be able to have guns. We don't want this way we sell guns today, with gun shows and stuff where they don't have to do back checking. We
No.
don't. The most Americans, they don't want that. They want regulations. They want this
Yes.
issue controlled.
Oh yeah, absolutely. One other thing I wanted to ask you was, they have these peace and violence rallies. You've been to a few of them as well. How are the attendance at these rallies? Are people getting involved in these, or is it slim pickings? I mean, it's almost like the police when they ask for the public's help in solving some of these crimes, and they can't get any cooperation. Are people coming to these rallies? Are people participating in these rallies? Do they believe in peace instead of violence? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think people are coming to the rallies. I mean, are they coming in numbers I would hope to have? Are we having thousands and thousands? No, but there are, hundreds of people that are doing coming out to these rallies. I think the church is becoming aware that this is a major issue, that the church needs, listening to our Savior. We need to be peacemakers, and we
Right,
need to start doing things that make for peace and to help fight for peace. And
right,
I think the churches are starting to become awakened in this, but I think it's a slow process. Yeah, I think it's a struggle to get people totally involved in, because I think there's a lot of fear in marches. I think there's a
right,
lot of fear of fighting over, of trying to protest and trying to bring legislation, write letters, because they really feel that a lot of people get very angry at people who are trying to work for peace. People's rights to have guns and even be
right.
violent seems to be protected, and people are scared about that, I think.
Yeah, and you have a lot of people too, Pastor Paul, and I think you'll agree with me on this. That's the only way they know how to solve a problem is through violence. They don't
Right.
know how to solve problems any other way. And I think if the church can teach, how to solve a problem like Jesus did and everyone else, and it says in the Bible, to have peace. Let's sit down and talk about this. Let's try to work this out. Let's have peace instead of violence, because we all know where it goes. I mean,
That's
it
right.
went back in the day of the Bible. In the Bible, it went back when there was violence, and I mean, and now it's here. It's happening big time now, and it starts with the federal government, works its way down through the state government and local. I mean, everybody has to get together as one and team up, and along with the churches, and do something about getting peace in this country instead of all this violence and this fighting and this, stuff like that. You're aware, and I've told you a few times. I've had some issues in this building here with a few people. All I did was nicely talk to a couple people about a couple of things, blocking up my handicap spot. Can you calm down your motorcycle a little bit, revving it up so that people can sleep? and I got threatened. And I mean, and all I did was ask nicely, and I got threatened. You know, it's happened too many times now. Even when I'm out there in public, I ask people nicely, "Can you please help me with?" It's like an inconvenience for anybody to do anything nice for anybody anymore. Then when you do ask somebody, they threaten you. And I mean, I don't get what's going on today. It's a bad situation, and it needs to get fixed, or else we're going to have major problems.
Well, we already do have major problems, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, the violence that's
I mean,
in
it's
our
going to be more.
communities
It's
on
going to be
all levels.
really bad. It's going to be so far out of control we can't do anything. That's what's going to happen. And I mean, and I think we really need to start inserting into people that there needs to be more peace than violence, and that's a simple fact. Or else we're just not going to be able to do much at all down the road. Pastor Paul, thank you for being on the program with me tonight.
Thank you, Ralph.
This and anytime you're welcome, anytime on this program, you know that. And I want to thank you for being on. And I'll see you in church.
Okay, thanks, Ralph.
Have a great one. Thank you.
You too.
That was Pastor Paul Roberts from Eastminster Presbyterian Church in the city's East Liberty section, where I go to church. He's my pastor as well. And we were just talking about peace and violence, not just in the city, but I'm talking about across this country. It's in really bad shape. And the reason I had Pastor Paul on tonight was perfect timing tonight anyway, was because earlier tonight, I got some information about a press conference today where Ed Gainey was on with the mayor of the city of Pittsburgh, Commander Ford of Major Crimes, and Cornell Jones, who's the chaplain, and he's in charge of community programs to stop the violence. He works for the Pittsburgh Police Department. He's also a pastor himself. I know Cornell personally. And so what I'm saying to you is there were all these people tonight, all on here. And finally, and I want to say this finally, and we're going to talk more about this as soon as we get done with some of my other segments later on. Finally, something happened, and we'll go as we go tonight. I want to apologize. Facebook we're having some technical difficulties with Facebook, and we can't get the link up here tonight. So, but we still are on YouTube and Twitch. So. You can watch it we're here live on YouTube. We're here every Monday night at 7 p.m. Last week I was on a trip. I will talk about that later on my life story. Tonight's Chinese wisdom is regenerate your system through diet and exercise. Save the cookies. And that is tonight's Chinese wisdom right here on The Way I See It. We do that. That's one of our segments here. If you're new to the program, we do that every single night here on the show. Sometimes it gets pushed away a little bit because sometimes I have other things going on. All right, tonight's blast segment is brought to you in part by DJ Fun. DJ Fun is a DJ who does parties, weddings, and special events. Give him a call today at 412-545-4317. Fun, experience, value. Call DJ Fun today for 10 years plus experience in doing DJ work, has all the music you could want. And I got to tell you, he is affordable. He will not take you to the cleaners like these other DJs. They've been out there for 6 months and they're charging people a bundle of money to, for their services. DJ Fun will not do that. His prices are reasonable and affordable. It will fit your budget. Give him a call today. That number again, 412-545-4317. All right, blast segment. It's great to be back here on The Way I See It. I was off last week because I was on a trip with my lovely wife. We decided to go and take a trip and what they call recharge the batteries before the winter comes, where we're out. The Farmer's Almanac, and I wish they'd stick to farming, has said that there's going to be but we're going to have a bad winter this year. So let's see what happens. Let's see if they're right. Let's see what's going to happen. We had a hot summer. Usually when there's a hot summer, there's a bad winter. So let's see what goes on. We dodged a bullet several times in regards to the winter. So let's find out what happens this year. All right. I want to start off with the warden at the Allegheny County Jail. Orlando Harper, I've had enough of your excuses. You come on with these press conferences denying the fact that there's roaches in the food, denying the fact that you're mistreating prisoners down there at the jail, denying the fact that you have a medical problem with your medical teams, and companies that you've hired down there to contract whatever goes on with medical down there. Okay. But not only do I blame Orlando Harper, I blame the jail board. I want to know what's going on here. Okay. You saw the complaints that came in. We had a discussion here on this program with everybody here. I had a discussion with you. I dedicated almost a whole show to about the problems at the jail. All right. And so, therefore, Orlando Harper, I'm coming after you tonight because this is a sad shame. And my thoughts are, I think you should be fired, or I think you should step down, because what goes on down this jail is a disgrace. And not only that, everybody, I think you should push Rich Fitzgerald or whoever puts this jail board on here to get them off the jail board and to have them all be removed, because this is a disgrace and I don't like it. And that tonight is the way I see it. Next, I'm blasting Donald Trump. I want to tell you something about your almighty president. Those of you who still think he's a president, okay? I want to tell you something. I gave this man an opportunity when he became president. I says, I'm going to give him a chance. I'm going to see what he can do. All right. Some things he did, I will get that were great. Some things he did that were good. Okay. All right. And I told everybody here, and I don't care what you think of me, and I don't care what you say about me, and I don't care what your thoughts are about this. Okay. Donald Trump would, if he didn't come on and act like a sixth grader and act like a president when he would speak to people and not insult disabled people, insult women, and who still voted for him. Okay, insult women and insult people. Oh, the people who voted for him were like, oh, well, he says what he feels. Oh, I guess it's okay when he insults women and you're married to a woman, right? It's okay to insult somebody it's okay to insult a handicapped person like me, or somebody a fellow disabled man who's a reporter. It's okay to insult somebody like that, right? And now every one of you have egg on your face. And you know what? I'm blasting you tonight, too, because you sit there and you praise this man like he was some kind of the greatest thing since sliced bread for a president. And look what he did on January 6th. And this week, the committee came back, and that's why I'm blasting you, Donald Trump. Being the president of the United States does not mean you act like a sixth grader, and it doesn't mean you put our country in jeopardy and they're trying to have a coup because you believe, even after you were told by the people in your inner circle that you had lost the election, that you continued to move on and continue to try to do this. Oh, I got all these people saying my 401k was better than it's ever been. I can retire early. Oh, well, good for you. Okay, you want to retire early? See, this is the classic example of why Donald Trump has stirred up a stew pot that the boiling water cannot boil anymore. Okay, and that's why I'm blasting you tonight, Donald Trump. Thank you for doing that in this country, because now look at where we are. And that's the way I see it tonight. Next, the people who are scamming people, scammers will never learn. They'll never stop. And now they're attacking high school fundraisers. High school fundraisers are attacking now. They've attacked the police fundraisers, fire fundraisers. Now they're going after high schools. High schools. They're going after now. And now these scammers are getting really unique in the way that they're conducting themselves, which I think is really horrible in the way they're doing things. And that's the way I see it about scammers tonight. Shame on you for trying to go after high schools. Next, the lady who was speeding through North Hills Village. What a sad weekend. A high school kid gets run over by a car at North Hills Village parking lot because a lady was speeding in the mall parking lot. You know what, lady? Shame on you. You should have never did this. This is disgraceful. Now this kid's gone. He was a nice kid. He went to Alderdice High School. He has friends. He has family and parents that are going to miss their child and not have their child around anymore because of you and you're speeding in the mall parking lot. That's the way I see it tonight. That's why I'm blasting you. Next, Freedom Corner vandals. You know what? This is terrible. The way people have vandalized that monument at the corner of Crawford and Center called Freedom's Corner. They have smashed a brick. They have spray painted derogatory things on there. You know what? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You really ought to be. It's all about freedom. It's all about freedom. Okay? Everybody has some sort of freedom, all right, in this country. That's what our country was built on, freedom. Okay? We have freedom of speech. We have freedom of a lot of things. Okay? But for you to do that, that is disgraceful. And that's why I'm blasting you tonight, the vandals who did that to Freedom's Corner. That is the way I see it tonight. Next. Oh, wait. No, I'm done. I have all my blasts out of the way. There we go. How's that? Next, we're going to have our Bonehead segment. Our Bonehead segment is brought to you tonight by our new sponsor to the show, Camp Agape. Get on their website tonight, Camp Agape, Hickory, Pennsylvania. They have a nice Christian. It's a Christian camp. They have wonderful programs in the summer. This past summer, they couldn't have a program. We'll talk about that later on. But call Camp Agape today. Go on their website, campagape.com or .org, and get on their website today. They're in Hickory, Pennsylvania. They have buildings you can rent for your group or organization. They have a lot of spiritual things that they can do up there for you. They have a full-scale retreat center with a kitchen in it. If you want to rent it out for your group, they have housing up there. Really nice. It's a beautiful place to go. They have a pond if you want to fish. I tell you what, it is so beautiful up there at Camp Agape. Look up on the website today at campagape.org or agapeministries.org. It's in Hickory, PA, 45 minutes from Pittsburgh. Not a far drive. Very nice place to go and get into your deep thoughts. If you just want to get away and smell some fresh country air, that's the place to be. So give them a call today. Get on their website and see what's happening. Bonehead. All right, our Bonehead move today is Jakarta, Indonesia. All right, listen to what the powers that be did here. Okay, at Jakarta in Indonesia, they were burning marijuana that they seized, and they burned so much of it, and they didn't control the burn. You burn marijuana, you should control the burn. Well, they didn't control it, and what happened was the whole town got high. I mean, it was like the whole town just got high. I mean, they really did. Yeah, the whole town got high because of that burn. All right, our next Bonehead, Walmart. Once again, what's going on at Walmart? These boneheaded people doing these things at Walmart. Look, few shows ago, there was a family at Walmart trying to steal from self-checkout. Guess what happened this week? There was a fight at self-checkout. That was a boneheaded move by somebody. It's terrible. It really is. Next, the 14-year-old boy who got so angry with his parents because they took his almighty cell phone away from him that he got so angry with them he ransacked the house. What a boneheaded move to ransack the house. Now he'll really be grounded for sure. And that's tonight's Bonehead right here on The Way I See It. We're every Monday night at 7 p.m. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. But tonight our Facebook is not, somehow or another, is not working properly. And I couldn't get it up on the Facebook end of it. And so we're just on YouTube and Twitch tonight. So I apologize for the inconvenience, those of you involved with that. Tonight, my life story. We went to, my beautiful wife and I went to Wheeling, West Virginia. And I got to tell you, Wheeling Island, we went to Wheeling Island for the dog track and for the casino. And I got to tell you, Wheeling Island's a deadbeat there. I mean, it's really dead there. I mean, it's just, it's like there's nobody there. It's like a ghost town during the day. Now, I do hear that Fridays and Saturdays, of course, are always their busiest day. But I got to tell you what, I've gone to Rivers at all hours of the night, and except for maybe overnight, Rivers has been busy. Or a Steeler game. I went my birthday, which was a pig game, and then I went to my birthday again, which was the Steeler game the next day. And both times I went in between the start of the game and left at halftime or left at the third quarter at the beginning so we could beat the traffic. Okay, perfect time. Nobody's at the casino at that time. If you like to gamble there, there's not a whole lot of people there. It's so bad down at Wheeling Island. They didn't even have the poker room open. They didn't have the blackjack tables really open. Everything was, they had to go to the digital tables. And I know some people, I don't like, if I'm going to play blackjack, I don't like that simulcasting stuff. And I'm going to tell you, these casinos, these online casinos have really hurt the brick and mortar casinos right now, because now everybody can just take their cell phone and go right on to riverscasino.com or MGM or whatever. And COVID made that, okay, because somehow or another these casinos not having anybody there had to make some kind of money. So now that's big, and now it's continued to get even bigger, okay. And there's still people out there, and I kind of find it, surprisingly enough, there are still people out there afraid to come out of their house. They think COVID's still here. They're so scared to come out of their house, it's unbelievable. And I cannot believe this at all. I find this very, very appalling, of the fact that you are still scared to come out of your house. Really? Are you that scared? Okay. What? If you're afraid you're going to get COVID, wear a mask. Go get your shots, okay? Go find, but don't confine yourself. I'm hearing that story. I'm hearing West Virginia leads the country in people not leaving their homes still because of COVID. Oh my gosh, I think that's a shame. I mean, I really believe that. Why would you do? Even when COVID was going on, I didn't let it get to me. I stayed in my house but when I needed to go out, I went out. I wore my mask. I went out and I did my stuff. I didn't waste my time staying at home. But there were people out here that do this. Okay, I have a member of my family that does this. I mean, I can't believe that this is going on. But Wheeling Island was, excuse me, was a great trip for my wife and I. We needed to recharge batteries a little bit, get a little peace and quiet away from Pittsburgh and some other things. And it was a great trip down to Wheeling, even though it was short. And I enjoy short trips anyway, because I don't fly anymore because I don't like the way I get treated by TSA. I don't like the way airlines treat people. I don't like the way that the airlines are gouging people, just like credit card companies. And of course, nobody does anything about it. The government doesn't care. And I've said this many times, nothing. My new theme for next year is don't care, because I don't think anybody cares about anything anymore. Nobody cares. This year's theme is nothing. And we're getting ready to finish the year out real soon here. And nothing will be a theme of the past. And next year is don't care, because no one cares about anything. No one cares that they need to hold the door open for me so I can get into a place, an establishment. Nobody cares that my wife and my mom struggle to get my wheelchair into my Jeep, because I can't help lift it in there. Nobody cares that I'm waiting for a handicap spot, decides to beep the horn, flip me the bird, and call and throw out the F-bomb. Nobody cares about that either. And nobody cares about a lot of things. And it's a lot of people in this country that just don't care. Anything, nothing. Jobs don't care. People don't care. Nobody cares. And it's real sad. We care about dumb things, but we don't care about what really supposed to care about. Like Pastor Paul said tonight, Pastor Paul Roberts, we need to start caring about peace and not about violence. Okay? We need to start caring about getting these guns off the street. We need to start caring about the crime. We need to start caring about how our city presents itself. We need to start caring about that stuff. We need to start caring about the fact that we make babies and we can't take care of them, and they're running around shooting people because the parents don't want to take care of their kids. We need to worry about that stuff, everybody. That's stuff that's important, okay? But we don't care about that stuff. We care about TikTok. We care about Facebook. We care about social media. We care about playing Xbox. I have something tonight that's going to blow your mind. Okay? But this is the sensible way of doing it, and the way people that are probably one perspective of thinking about why people are lazy. I have 6 thoughts tonight that came from a financial magazine, and I'll tell you about that later. All right. Went to a place down there in Wheeling Island called Greco's. Uh, and I got to tell you this, and we're going to talk about this later on as well. The size of stuff these days. Large pizzas, you would think Domino's, Pizza Hut, people like that, Papa John's, Little Caesars, or whomever, the franchise type of pizza places, okay? You would understand, like Domino's says a large is an 8-cut pizza, okay? A medium is a 6-cut pizza, all right, or whatever, okay? All right. There are places and franchises that are doing that now. Geno's or whomever, they come out with a pizza, a little weeny little pizza, and it's called a party pizza. And I said to my wife the other night, how do you even think that this is any kind of a party pizza? You're lucky you get one serving out of it. I can get a big slice of pizza at a pizza shop. I'll pay $3 or $5 for it nowadays. But I can get a bigger piece of pizza for that, for what I paid for that frozen little pizza that's processed. Okay? All right? So we're going to talk about that later as well. This past Saturday, went up to one of my favorite places in my life, Camp Agape. I spent a lot of my youth life up there. Beautiful place. It's a Bible camp up in Hickory. I tell you what, it's beautiful up there. I was up there for their fall festival. Got to see some friends, and it's always nice going up there and seeing some people. Cheaper gas down in West Virginia. I forgot to mention that. I saved 30 cents on a gallon of gas, and I love every minute of it. Love it all. If I could do that all the time, I'd be a happy man. I saved it in Ohio too when I went to Sugar Creek a few weeks back, or last month. Okay, so it beats what PA is. And I told you a few shows ago when I did my life story about our trip to Sugar Creek, I talked to some Pittsburgh people there. Okay, they don't get the F-bomb. They don't get the high taxes on your house, and it's nice to live there and all that. Taxes are easy. The houses are cheaper. Gas and energy's cheaper. Everything's cheaper in Ohio. Everything's cheaper there. Why do you think people live in Steubenville? Okay. And why do you think they commute to work in downtown Pittsburgh? Now, Steubenville should be doing all right because everybody should move to Steubenville. I hear it's nice in Steubenville now. I haven't been in the downtown area of Steubenville in a long, long time. Okay. I've been across that suspension bridge. It's a beautiful thing from Weirton to Ohio to Steubenville. I've been up to the university. I've been up to the Holiday Inn. I think it's a Comfort Inn or something nowadays. I don't know if it's still a Holiday Inn. Okay. I've been to the university there, but I haven't really been in downtown Steubenville. A little back in the day, about 15 years ago even, they were calling it the burb of the burg. Okay. Where people were flocking down there because they could get a house cheaper. They could pay cheaper rent. The areas where I hear the areas are nicer now. It's much more cleaned up than it was in the past. Because when I grew up, you stayed out of Steubenville. Okay. So here's what I'm saying tonight to everybody. Okay. And tonight we're going to be here for a special 90-minute show. It's the return of The Way I See It. We were off last Monday, and I have a big surprise. That's right. Another surprise for you tonight. I got a lot of surprises for you in my return to The Way I See It. All right. So anyway, also Tuesday, even though I was on my trip, I took some time to get on Zoom and speak at City Council. And I tell you what, Pittsburgh City Council, I don't know what their thoughts are. I don't know if they care about this city. I don't know what their thoughts are about this city. But I said what I had to say. And I'm not going to go into what I had to say. They know what I had to say. You know what I had to say because I've been talking about it on this program for a while. A lot of different things. Okay. Some stuff is, some things that need to be done that I had to speak about. All right. Okay, we have a lot of key topics tonight, but tonight I want to send a congratulatory out tonight. Oh wait, I'm sorry, wrong. There we go. I want to send congratulatory out tonight. Okay, it's not funny, but I'm sorry, but I wanted to send my congratulatory out. You want to know why? Because I'll tell you why. Tonight, somebody in the Pittsburgh Police Department finally had the guts to come on TV, to come on and put the parents responsible for their child. And don't tell me that I never said this on this program. I have been after parents for a long time on this show. Since this show has been on live here on YouTube, and we're going on almost a year or more now, okay? Since I have been putting this program on social media and on my TV show too, and on PCTV, I have said many times it's about parenting. And now the Pittsburgh police have finally said something about the parents need to be responsible. That is great. Commander Ford, I salute you tonight on this program. Why? Because you finally had the guts to come on and say something. Because the police have had enough. They've had enough of it. And all of you out there that sit out there and go, I pay for a police department. Why should I say anything? It's their job to find these people. But then you'll complain when you get robbed and the police can't be there because they're busy running all over the place. Okay? And I'm not asking you to make anything easy for anybody because nobody does. Okay? No one ever does. All right? But what I'm asking you to do tonight is to consider what he said, what Commander Ford had to say. And that is, parents need to be responsible for their children. And how many times have I said on this program that if you can't take and watch and be responsible for a child, don't make it. Okay? It's that simple. But we don't make things simple. Okay? Nothing simple. That's a problem too. You see what I'm saying? All right? They're finally going to get something together to get somebody to run Schumann Center. How many times have I said something about that since Schumann Center's been closed? Ever since I started this program here and on PCTV, I've made comments about Schumann Center. Tonight, Pastor Paul and I talked about that earlier on in the show. He agrees the same way I do. But we're going to make it hard for judges. Oh, it's all right for my kid to be at home on home detention with a monitor on, so he could sit there and play Xbox, play around on the phone, get on the phone with his gangbanging buddies, and go around and shoot everybody. You know what Smoking Jim said Thursday night on our wrestling show on Blog Talk Radio? I was on a trip, and I wasn't on the air all week. I didn't have The Way I See It. I didn't do Sports Corner podcast. He and I do. I didn't do Talking Wrestling. The only thing I did was the Blog Talk Radio show. That was it. I took the rest of the week off from everything else. And you know what he said? Ralph can't wait to get back on the mic. Yes, indeed, I can't. I'm here. I'm back. The return of me and the way I see it. We had 1 week off. You had 1 week to digest and archive all my shows here on YouTube and subscribe to my page. And you know I'm right. And there are those of you out there that think I'm wrong. There are those of you out there who continue to go on and on about how, oh, Ralph, you shouldn't do that. Oh, no, yes, I should. because you know I'm right. Okay? You don't care if Schumann Center opens because you're fine with your kid committing a crime. You're fine with that. You're fine with him being at home on detention with a monitoring device on so he could sit there and play around on his cell phone and horse around on Xbox and play and get his friends on social media and they can discuss robbing old ladies or something. And don't tell me you don't do it because you do. But guess what, everybody? Those of you out there who have kids that are out there committing these violent crimes, it's over. It's over. Schumann Center's coming back. And your kid's going to jail. There's no way around this time. So, my advice to you is the same advice that Commander Ford's given you tonight. Watch your kid. Watch your child. Make sure you know what he's doing. Because if you can't, then you shouldn't be a parent. Because that's where it's coming from. For the first time in the history of this city that I finally heard a cop, an honest to goodness city police officer, commander, sergeant, whatever, actually come on tonight in frustration, which he should be, that parents need to take more responsibility for their children. Pastor Paul said it right at the beginning of the show. Churches are taking more responsibility. They're stepping up about peace. You need to step up about peace and not step up about violence and about fighting and about arguing with people and about yelling at people about calling somebody the F-bomb because they ask you to move your vehicle out of a handicap spot. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why people don't live in Pittsburgh anymore. And I saw it at Sugar Creek. And I saw it in Wheeling. And we're seeing it in Steubenville. And we're seeing it in places like that. Pittsburgh is not the city it was once before. And it never will be back to that again because we have too many people around here of younger generation that don't care. That don't care. That tonight, everybody, is the way I see it. Next, let's talk about this Post-Gazette strike. You know, the Post-Gazette, and I blasted them on my TV show, ought to be ashamed of themselves. How in the world do you justify not giving raises for 16 years? And then you want to screw the union over again and take 4 years to try to negotiate a contract. And then you get on TV and you get on the news and you get on the radio and you blame the union. You know, why is it every time it's the union's fault? Why isn't it the company's fault? And you want to know something? I got a little bit of a nugget for you tonight. And I did a little bit of deep digging about this laziness stuff too. And now I know why people don't want to work. There is this little contingent of people who don't want to work, okay, that are not lazy. They don't want to work because they've been mistreated by their employer. And that's every time. And then the union goes out there, and you heard the union say, which is the truth, of course, that the Post-Gazette has not given these folks a raise in 16 years. And what do? You continue to buy the newspaper. You don't cancel your subscription. I'm canceling mine. I've been in 5 unions in my life. I know what it is to fight against a company. And I'm not saying unions are always right. They're not. I'm not saying companies are always right. They're not. Okay? But there has to be a give and take here. I had a conversation today with somebody about unions, about the company giving and taking a little bit. Company wants this, but don't want to give that. I had a conversation with somebody about that who has no idea about unions. I've been in 5 in my lifetime. 5. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to expose these unions. A lot, the ones that I were in, the majority of them were good, and a few of them were weak. Out of the 5, 3 were good, 2 were weak. I'm not going to say which ones because I don't want to jeopardize anybody that works for them. Okay. Because the company will go after you because of what Ralph said on his show. So I have to watch what I say as far as that goes. And I don't want these unions to be, stuck. They get it stuck to them, which some companies do that anyway. They don't like unions. They want to do what they want to do. They want to violate your rights. They want to violate the law. They want to give you penny raises. They don't want to give you insurance. They think they make billions and billions of dollars, and they act like there's pension pennies till Lincoln's head comes out. Okay? You can't have your cake and eat it too. Companies. That's what the problem is in this country. We let big corporations, big companies like the Post-Gazette have their cake and eat it too. What about us? What about workers? What about people who sweat out there and work their fingers to the bones? What about those folks? What about folks who've been at companies like my wife? She was at 32 years at Giant Eagle. What thanks did she get? Worked her fingers to the bones. 32 years. What about the employees now that are there that have been there way more than my wife that are still there at Giant Eagle? Okay? Because Giant Eagle wants their cake and eat it too. Walmart, everybody, they all want their cake and eat it too. Starbucks, they're punishing managers for starting up unions. They even mistreat their own managers. You got Coffee Tree Roadster, took them a year to negotiate a contract when they started the union up last year in Squirrel Hill, and then some employees that are suing them in court because they got fired over it. So with Starbucks the same way. It's wrong. It's greed. It's having your cake and eating it too. It doesn't work that way. But that's the way everybody wants it. You can't. I've tried. Doesn't work. I live with what I have. I'm content on what I have. If I have my cake and eat it too, good for me. If I don't, oh well. But Post-Gazette for 16 years, not giving raises. And then the union went into these concessions with the company, and now they still don't want to give anything out. And I understand the newspaper business is tough. The print's not there no more. I remember when carriers used to make I knew guys that made $2,000 a month delivering papers for either both the Trib and the Post-Gazette. I did it myself. Unfortunately, I had an ex-girlfriend who ruined my car, and I had to drive a gas-guzzling van because I didn't have a vehicle, and I had to junk it, and I lost a $1,600 a month paper route for the Post-Gazette. It was good money delivering papers. Not anymore. Not anymore. The Tribune Review delivers from Greensburg, but that's it. They deliver in stores. I don't even know if they even do home delivery. Remember the young kid that used to come around, 12 years old, collect? You have a little ticket thingy, come here to collect. Tap on your door. Not anymore. Adults that used to deliver papers and make a living at it. I knew families. The wife would go to the work at the Trib, and the husband would work. The wife would work at the Trib and the Post Gazette, and the husband, he worked. I used to deliver USA Today when I was laid off from Port Authority the first time. When I got laid off at Port Authority back in the early 2000s, okay, I went and I delivered papers for USA Today. And the husband did that and the wife did that and they made money. Not anymore. The Post Gazette jobs are not there anymore. You could be a depot manager, make a ton of money. Not anymore. It's not there. The newspaper business, print-wise, is going down the toilet. They say probably in less than 10 years, there will be no print newspapers. My first wife, she's up in heaven with the Lord, used to go play bingo all the time. The bingo beat used to be 10 pages long. Now it's 2. Well, of course, bingos are going down the toilet because of the casinos. Nobody goes to bingos anymore. They go to the casino. Why do I need to go to bingo? I could play bingo on my phone. Why do I need to go to bingo? Why do I need to go to bingo and hear them throw the F-bomb at the caller because they didn't get G60 or G50 or something like that? Why do I need to do that when I can stay at home? In the quiet and peacefulness of my own home. And that's the way it is now. That's the way it is. And it's more and more now because of COVID. All right? I was talking about this earlier, and I'm going to talk about this some more. The deduction and the upping prices of food. Here we are again. Sticking it to the consumer. And let me tell you this. It's even gone to Campbell's soup. Okay? But you'll continue to eat it if I told you to boycott it. Okay? You'll continue to eat it. Mommy, can I have Campbell's soup? No, I got soup from Harry's Market because Campbell's soup ripped us off. Now you won't do that. Go buy Campbell's soup. Okay? My mom said she bought a can of Campbell's soup this past week. You know how you have the long noodles in Campbell's soup? The noodles are that big now. And they jacked the price up. I think she said Dollar General or one of the stores had it 3 for $6, and they acted like that was a discount. I remember when you could get a can of soup for 50 cents. I have a friend of mine who's a program director at a radio station up in Alaska, and he told me it's $5.38 a can for the regular size can of Campbell's chicken noodle soup. $5.38. Now, things in Alaska are high anyway because it's difficult to get stuff there. You have to fly it in all the time. It's difficult. It's complicated. Okay? All right? But there's no need for that. But these companies are doing it that way. Pizza shops, I mentioned earlier. They're trying to justify an 8-cut pizza, which is supposed to be in most cases, if you grew up eating pizza and you remember the old mom and pop store, the old mom and pop pizza shop, you know, it's not like it is now, it's Harry's Pizza, but Bob owns it. Or some guy from India or something. Not that I have anything against anybody from India. Please don't take that wrong. Okay? And his name is not Harry. Okay? Remember old man Harry used to smile at you, make you pizza. You could go in there and get a nice 12-cut or 16-cut extra large or 12-cut large. No! It's 8-cut for a large pizza. 8-cut. I ordered a meat lovers from this Greco's down in Wheeling. I got an 8-cut, which to me is a medium pizza because growing up, that's what a medium pizza was. Small was 6 or 4, or actually 4 was a mini pizza or a junior, and a 6-cut was a small pizza, and an 8-cut's a medium. 10 or 12 cut was a large. 16 was an extra large. Not anymore. And they charge more money. You got to take out a loan now. So I'll make a suggestion to you tonight, but of course your laziness and not willing to save money and put in a little bit of time, make your own pizza. I can sit here and make it the way I want it. I told my wife, I'm done. You have to take out a loan to get a pizza. And the ingredients and everything's going up sky high. Why? Because our government knows we're having issues with the economy and they refuse to do anything about it. Okay? I told Biden's people when he was campaigning here that you need to hire Mike Bloomberg for economic advisor or in his cabinet in some capacity. He's a smart man. And then I get all these poor people, the majority of them in this building, act like they're so poor they can't pay attention, which they don't. Okay? All right? And, oh, not Mike Bloomberg. No. He's rich. I don't want to vote for him. But see, he's different from Donald Trump. Bloomberg was poor and became rich. Trump was handed his stuff. Dad was rich, handed all his money and businesses over to him. That's how he made money. And I'm not saying Donald Trump never worked hard for it. I'm not saying that. But do you understand the difference in the people? And you see how Mike Bloomberg acts. He doesn't act like a sixth grader. Okay? All right? What has Donald Trump done for this country? And now he's taken our country down, and now he's being subpoenaed for court. And he's taken this country down to the bottom. But everybody thinks that he's the greatest thing in the world because he says what he feels. He tells it like it is. Okay? That's exactly how it is. But there you are. Campbell's soup. Campbell's soup. This tiny. The noodles. You know how you buy Lipton and the packet soup in a box and you heat it up, chicken noodle or whatever. It's got these little, weeny little noodles. Well, that's what Campbell's doing now. Okay, maybe the Campbell family and the Lipton family, maybe they got together and decided, they're gonna. Yeah, exactly. All right. All right. More laziness. It continues. My friends up at Camp Agape told me they had to cancel summer program this year because they couldn't get nobody for counselors or lifeguards for the pool and the lake. When is it going to stop? But I have something for you that's actually quite interesting. Okay? All right. The Financial Buzz says that they have reported that there are 6 ways lazy people have been making money. Now, I don't know what they're, I don't see, I'm talking lazy people making anything out of this. But then again, who knows? All right. Number 1, they try out new games and earn gift cards from Amazon. I'm told you can get on this thing that Amazon has where you can earn their gift cards. And then what they do is they cash them in or they sell them. For instance, I have a $50 Amazon gift card that I got for free. So I will go out there and I'll sell it for $10 less or $30 less. And you can go do what you want and then put the cash in your pocket. It's a cash country now. Nobody wants to pay anything. That's another reason I heard people are lazy. They're used to this cash in hand during COVID when they were laid off, so now they think they can have it all the time. Okay? The Great Resignation, did everybody forget about that? Remember I sat here and said this wasn't going to work, and everybody thought I was nuts? And everybody went, I thought that's funny. I think it's funny. Stick it to my boss. Yeah. And then you ended up being poor and broke, and then you try to go back to your boss after you went to another job that you thought was greener on the other side, and you got screwed. Okay? There's companies out here that are paying $12 an hour. There's bars, restaurants paying $12, $15, $20, $25 an hour. But guess what? You're only working 2 hours a day. Okay? I was at Olive Garden yesterday. My server started at 10 o'clock in the morning, and she was done by 2. Why? Because they're paying them $12, $14 an hour instead of the $2 or whatever it is that they normally pay for servers, because they can't get them. So in order to do that, you have to cut their hours down. Okay? And that is what people are doing. All right? That's another reason people are lazy. They don't trust these employers. And I don't blame them, because there are some of them you can't trust. Okay? Some of them you can't trust. Some of them that'll underpay you. All right? And it's pretty sad that no matter where I go in this country, or no matter where I go, I hear the same thing. We can't find help. We can't get help. Nobody wants to work. And you know what that boils down to, too? The way you were brought up in parenting. Take, 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 take. You don't want to work, but you want to take. All right, next. Well, here's the Amazon thing. Try out new games, you get gift cards. So there's this app you do. You try out these games. You submit this thing to Amazon, and they send you gift cards. That's how they're making money. Number 2, a solitary club. You play these solitary games, and you can make $83 a game if you win the game. Okay? Fine. Sit wherever you are, play your little solitary game, make money. Ask National Debt Relief Company to pay off your credit cards, and they will clear out your credit card debt for up to $10,000. And get this, no fees and low monthly payments. Oh, sure. I don't want to work. I can do that. Number 4, get personalized loan results up to $50,000 in under 2 minutes through a personal loan company and Nerd Wallet. Low monthly payments and no fees. Next, number 5, earn $300 cash reward bonus with this card. It's a Wells Fargo autograph card. You spend $1,500 within 3 months with Wells Fargo within a 3-month period, and they give you $300 cash disbursement. I mean, they don't send you cash. They put it in one of those cash cards. You know what I'm talking about. All right. Number 6, cancel your car insurance. Tell the insurance company that you want to save money, and if they don't help you, you're going to go to another company. And some of these companies now are giving bonuses out or handing you money because they don't want you to leave. And if I can figure this out probably right, probably there's a scam involved there too. But this is what came from the 6 things that came from the financial buzz. Okay? This is the 6 ways that lazy people in this country are making money. All right? All right. Enough of lazy people. Makes me sick. Makes me sad. It's really bad and terrible. So I don't want to talk about it anymore. Let's talk before we start into our regular topics, before we end here. And we still have 21 minutes left in the show, special 90-minute edition tonight. I'm back. The return of The Way I See It with me, Ralph Williams. We're here every Monday night at 7. Usually we're on for an hour, but since we weren't on last week, it's a 90-minute special. Earlier on, we had Pastor Paul Roberts on. He talked about peace and violence, and we talked about some other things earlier. You can listen to this show again as it archives on YouTube, and I will be posting it on Facebook later on for you to watch as well. Because Facebook tonight, we made it to Facebook. Okay, great. We finally got back up. They were having some technical issues. They sent me a little notice saying there was some technical problems getting the stream up tonight. Well, I got it up, so it's good now. There we are. All right. John Fetterman. Let's talk about him for a minute. One of my media colleagues told me yesterday something very interesting. John Fetterman's in trouble with this election. He's having problems speaking. And they said that he was prepping to speak for this debate he's supposed to have with Dr. Oz coming up next week. Okay. And with that, the story I'm hearing is from some sources is that he's having some issues. Now, I keep getting these texts about he's having some problems with money. That's fine. But I've spoken to his campaign people and his people assistants many times, and he will not come on this program. And I understand he's not feeling right. Okay. But here's what I'm concerned about. I like John. He's a great guy. But if you're going to vote for him, you better pray for him. Because he's got health issues more than there's probably leading on to be. And you know what's sad? Dr. Oz is exposing it. He's putting it out there that John Fetterman has these problems. And now the media is putting it out there. One of my media colleagues said yesterday when I heard that he is having issues speaking and he has to do a closed captioning in order to speak because he never recovered properly from that stroke, or he recovered too fast or tried to recover too fast from whatever. You know, when you have a health problem like that, you cannot try to recover. And I understand he was running for politics. His wife went out and did some things for him. The governor did. And what has to happen now is Fetterman has to catch up now. Okay. He really has to get out there and start doing this because remember what happened to Hillary Clinton? She was having health issues, couldn't go out and campaign. They sent Obama, her daughter, Chelsea, Bill Clinton, all these folks, Biden, everybody all went out on her behalf. And Michigan said, and I quote, "We voted for Trump because Hillary didn't come here." At least Trump did. Do you want that problem here? Because John Fetterman isn't here or doesn't come to see us? I mean, he's doing it, yes. But he's playing catch up right now. And Oz is catching up to him in the polls. Okay? And I'm tired of getting these texts from his campaign people telling me he needs money. I need money too. We all need money. John Fetterman knew what he was getting into. I like John Fetterman. I didn't like the way he was dressed when the president showed up here. He had time, could have went home. He was in Swissvale, could have shot across the bridge or went down the road to Braddock to his home and put on some decent clothes so he looks a little bit more presentable for President Biden. Okay? He wears a suit to go in front of the state representatives in the Senate as lieutenant governor. Why couldn't he do something for the president when he was here? Okay? I personally believe, okay? And again, you're going to say, oh, well, that's John. Yeah, I know it's John. I know who John is. Okay? Myself and Smoke and Jim have had this conversation before. Back in the day when the Steelers were in between coaches, Bill Cowher stepped down, and they were looking to hire a coach. Russ Grimm, who longtime Pitt Panther from long ago, played offensive line for the now called the Commanders, used to be the Redskins. Okay? And on and on and on. He was a coach with the Steelers. He was an offensive line coach in some other teams. Okay? Well, Russ Grimm wanted to be head coach. You know what he showed up at the interview in? Cowboy boots, blue jeans, a sport jacket, a sloppy shirt, no tie, smoking a cigar. Mike Tomlin showed up in a suit and a tie. Ken Wisenhunt showed up in a suit and a tie. Russ Grimm showed up like that. And you know what was said? And I know who said it. Then when he spoke to the Roonies about why they didn't hire Russ Grimm, they said his appearance. If I'm Joe Biden and I'm here in Pittsburgh and my lieutenant governor's standing there from the state of Pennsylvania with flip-flop sandals, shorts, and a shirt on, I'm not happy. Okay? John, I don't care where you wear that at. I don't care if you wear it around whatever, but have some respect for our president and wear decent clothes. Okay? You should have had some respect for our president and had some decent clothes and wore some. And I understand, again, it was the spare of the moment. It was an emergency, but you could have took 10 minutes. You didn't live that far to go home and put some clothes on, some decent clothes. That's where I have a problem. Respect our president. Okay? That's like that time Wiz Khalifa. And I know now everybody's going to say I'm critical. No, Wiz Khalifa was wrong. Mayor Peduto, former mayor of the city of Pittsburgh, those of you who don't know, because you don't read the news, you don't listen to anything, you're too busy worrying about TikTok and all that, with those folks, okay? Well, you probably listen to Wiz Khalifa, all right? And I'm not knocking him for his music. He does what he does, and that's great. Good for him. He's making money. His own mother was there and didn't even say anything. He was getting the key of the city from the mayor, from Mayor Peduto, and he showed up with jeans with holes in them, his hat up in the air, a scrunchy looking jean jacket, and he probably smelled like pot, because I heard he likes to smoke pot. The next night was the Grammys. Showed up there in a $400 tuxedo. I lost respect for Wiz Khalifa. How could you not respect your city by showing up with something like that? But Fetterman better be careful. He needs to get himself together, because Dr. Oz means business. He really does. I thought he'd run just like Ivana Trump came out and said she thought it was a joke. Trump thought it was a joke. He never thought he was going to run for president. Got elected. Dr. Oz is not joking. He's creeping up in the polls. And you want somebody like that representing you in government? No. But it could happen if John Fetterman doesn't do something. And I know his health is the way it is. And maybe people will vote him in to understand. But my question is, can he do it without stepping down? Can he do it without dying? Can he do it without? That's my question. Does he have the stamina to do it? Okay. All right, let's get into our main top, or some smaller topics here tonight. Dollar Bank acquisition of Standard Bank. Dollar Bank says they're going to relocate some of the Standard Bank employees, but they have acquired Standard Bank. That's the way I see it tonight. Next, Walmart closed for Thanksgiving. There you go. All you knuckleheads who camp outside with a tent, okay, at Thanksgiving night, they're not going to be open. And that's nice. Actually, that's one thing that COVID has done. Not open for Thanksgiving for this stuff. Go do your thing Black Friday. Spend Thanksgiving with your family. If you didn't during COVID. That's one thing that the government and everybody else thought was, the health people. Oh, it's great. People get to spend more time with their families because of COVID. I think it drove people crazy. Excuse me. Sorry about that. All right, and that's the way I see it tonight. Next, Jason Voorhees, actor who played in part 4 of Friday the 13th, passed away yesterday, 96 years old. Name was James White. He played Jason Voorhees in part 3 and 4. Okay. That's the way I see it tonight. Sorry to hear about that. Sharon Osbourne shared about some stuff about Ozzy. His Parkinson's is getting really out of control, and he's not doing too good. Sad. Ozzy, made his money in metal music, Black Sabbath, his own stuff. I had the distinct pleasure back in the day of seeing Black Sabbath at Star Lake as part of Ozfest. Okay. But what I'm saying is, it's sad to hear. It really is. That's the way I see it tonight. Next, Kroger. Kroger buying out Colbert or Mickelson's or one. I couldn't remember the name of the place, but Kroger's buying out somebody, Mulligan's or something like that. Yeah, all across the country. That's the way I see it tonight. Next, Cartoon Network folding up. Yeah, kids aren't staying home anymore watching cartoons. They're busy playing around on Xbox, busy screwing around on a phone, putting nude pictures on TikTok and social media and all that stuff. I'm not watching cartoons anymore. They don't get up in the morning. They sleep till noon. Sleep till noon. That's the way I see it. Next, Citizens Bank closing their Giant Eagle branches. They're going to put up kiosks where you could see somebody on a TV screen going, "Hi, can I help you? Yes. What would you like to do?" And it'll be like a little ATM thing. You stick your money in there, your deposit in there. If you have a question or whatever, you'll actually see somebody on a screen. Okay, so that's how Citizens is going to do this. That's the way I see it tonight, which means other employees will be relocated or furloughed, as they call it, or whatever, and so on and so forth. Airport Authority this Saturday auctioning off 8,000 items, including some cars. Go out to the airport, to the hangar, one of the hangars out there. I can't remember which one it is. Go out to one of them hangars. I'm sure there'll be signs posted. Airport Authority's hosting it. It's an auction. And of course, we lead the country in seized guns at the airport. Yeah. How do you like that one? Suge Knight, his son, says that Tupac is alive and living in Malaysia. And his dad got falsely accused of murder. That's like all these people out here. You got these conspiracy theory people that are all out here, everybody, and they go on and on about Elvis is still alive, Michael Jackson's still alive, whoever died still alive because they're making more money being dead. Maybe. I don't know. Okay? I don't know. Ringo Starr cancels the rest of his tour because he has COVID for a second time. A second time he has COVID. He's canceling his tour. Fortunately for all of you out there who still like Ringo Starr, because he was a Beatle. Oh, he was a Beatle. You go to Paul McCartney shows and they sell out. Why? Because he's a Sir and he was a Beatle. You want to know why you can't go to the bathroom at a Beatles concert? Because there's no John. That's why you can't go to the bathroom at a Ringo Starr concert. Oh, my. All right. Listen to this one here. An employee submits a resignation letter and gets a raise. Okay. How about that? We talked earlier about laziness, company screwing people, all different things of causing these situations. Well, now you have some more stuff being caused here now. Now it's okay for everybody to put a letter of resignation in and get a raise. So guess what now? That person did it. Everybody else is going to do it. Okay? That is what's going to happen. That's the way I see it. Next, Comcast cancels their G4 contract. Now, they were trying to revive cable TV by having you be able to play games on your TV set through a cable subscription, but it didn't work. Comcast is getting rid of it. That's the way I see it tonight. Next, Pittsburgh and Harrisburg. Now, you're not going to believe this. Yeah, I know a guy. He goes to my church. He's from Harrisburg. He actually does come to our church in East Liberty from Harrisburg. Okay? Plays in our praise band. He plays an instrument. Lives in Harrisburg. They tell me Harrisburg has been cleaned up. They say it's very nice now. It's really a nice place to live. Okay? Well, Pittsburgh and Harrisburg are the only two PA cities are the best to live in. One of them is 27 and the other one is 35. Yeah. The only two cities that were rated best to live in the entire state, in the top 100 places to live in the United States. Oh my, jeez. You know what? It's time to go. It really is. Anyway, that's tonight's the way I see it. I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. Sorry about the inconvenience earlier. We were not able to get the Facebook page up right away. We are having some technical issues, so therefore we couldn't get it up tonight. But it's great that you were available on YouTube and Twitch. You can watch us live all the time on all three of these platforms here on Monday night at 7 p.m. on The Way I See It. Don't forget tomorrow night, 8:30. I tell you what, tomorrow night I have a show for you, and I'm not telling you what's going on. We're going to be on for 90 minutes tomorrow night as well. Myself and Smoke and Jim, 90 minutes to possibly 2 hours. I have two guests coming on tomorrow that are going to be great. We have Marty Leap coming on from Rumbunter, and what they are is they're a national newspaper in baseball. Well, Marty Leap covers the Pirates. He's been on the show a few times. He's going to be on tomorrow to talk about the future of the Pirates. Then I have Avi Greenwald coming on tomorrow. Avi Greenwald reports for the Miami Dolphins and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So guess what? He's going to be on tomorrow, and we're going to talk about the Buccaneers-Steeler game from this Sunday, and then we're going to talk about the Dolphins game coming up this Sunday night with the Steelers. And then, of course, we'll talk about that great victory yesterday by the Steelers, which no one expected. Neither did I. I thought Brady was going to eat us up, but we'll talk about that tomorrow with my co-host Smoking Jim Frazier. 8:30 start time tomorrow live, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. Also Wednesday, 7:00 p.m. Talking wrestling with myself and Smoking Jim Frazier. Lots to talk about in the world of wrestling as well. Thursday night, 8 p.m. Blog Talk Radio, Smoking Jim Frazier, myself, and Mark Mancini will be on 8 p.m. Thursday night, 347-205-9631. And also don't forget about Friday night at 5 o'clock, Friday afternoon, 5 o'clock. Check PCTV's listings because sometimes they switch the schedules around. Also, not only just Sports Corner, me at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, Steel City Sports World, and either at 4 or 7, the Boxing Authorities with Claudia Rosano, Smoking Jim Frazier, and Luther Dupree, the same three are also on Steel City Sports World as well. Some good sports talk and some good boxing talk from the Boxing Authorities. I tell you what, guys, everybody, you really need to listen to these guys because they do some really good talking about boxing. They're real in depth and thorough. They give their opinion on the matches and things like that are going to be going on. So, check into that. It's a great thing, and it's a great feeling. So to be able to have and know somebody that actually has a great show like that. So tune into it on PCTV. It'll either be on at 4 o'clock before Sports Corner at 5, or it'll be on after Steel City Sports World at 7 p.m. on every Saturday. Sometimes the network switches the things around as well. Also, one other thing I wanted to talk to you about before we leave here is Pittsburgh Community Television has been providing community TV for over 50 years on Channel 21, Comcast 47, Verizon. The cable companies have managed to do their infinite wisdom and screw the TV stations, the community channels out of their stations. Now, I need you to go to your federal legislator and get some of these laws changed and start making some of these internet and streaming companies pay the community televisions, because what community TV does is it puts out a community feel in TV, and it also puts out good programming. And there are some community channels in this state, and I've seen some of them, that put nothing but bulletin board stuff on there. But if you want to see community TV, go bye-byes. And it also gives you an opportunity to become a community producer. So become a community producer today or donate to PCTV. Call 412-322-7570 and ask and talk to them about that. They will be more than happy to talk with you. I'm Ralph Williams. It's been great to be here tonight on the way I see it. Have a good one. See you next Monday night. Be safe.